An ordinary boy and his loyal dog uncover a centuries-old secret hidden in the local church. When dark forces threaten their quiet town, they become the unlikely guardians of a magical talisman. Facing terrifying shadows and defying the impossible, the frightening reason behind it all left everyone speechless. In the quaint town of Millbrook, nestled in the rolling hills of rural England, St. Michael's Church stands as a beacon of tradition and spirituality. Its weathered stone walls and Gothic spires have watched over the community for centuries, a silent guardian of faith and history. The church's stained glass windows cast kaleidoscopic patterns on the worn flagstones, telling stories of saints and miracles to all who enter. The town itself is a picturesque snapshot of English charm, with its winding cobblestone streets lined with Tudor-style cottages and fragrant rose gardens. The gentle babbling of the Mill Brook, from which the town derives its name, provides a soothing backdrop to the daily life of its close-knit inhabitants. Idyll. As dusk settles over Millbrook, the church bells toll, their melodious chimes echoing through the village square. The warm glow of gas lamps flickers to life, casting long shadows and lending an air of mystery to the familiar surroundings. A cool breeze rustles through the ancient yew trees in the churchyard, carrying with it whispers of long-forgotten secrets. Inside St. Michael's, the air is thick with the scent of beeswax candles and aged wood. The pews, polished smooth by generations of worshippers, gleam softly in the candlelight. The altar, adorned with intricate carvings and golden embellishments, stands as a focal point of reverence and wonder. As night falls, the church takes on an otherworldly quality, its stone walls seeming to pulse with an energy that speaks of both divine protection and hidden mysteries. It's on one such evening that our story begins, as the town of Millbrook prepares for an event that will challenge their faith, courage, and the very fabric of their reality. At the heart of our tale is Oliver, a bright-eyed 12-year-old boy with an insatiable curiosity and a penchant for adventure. His unruly mop of ginger hair and freckled face are as vibrant as his imagination. Oliver's inquisitive nature often leads him to explore every nook and cranny of Millbrook, much to the amusement and occasional concern of the townsfolk. Beside Oliver, padding faithfully on four paws, is his constant companion and best friend, Luna. This border collie, with her distinctive black and white coat and intelligent brown eyes, is no ordinary dog. Luna possesses an uncanny ability to sense things beyond human perception, a gift that has saved Oliver from more than one scrape during their adventures. The bond between Oliver and Luna is extraordinary. They communicate with a series of looks, gestures, and barks that seem like a secret language all their own. Where Oliver goes, Luna follows, her keen senses always alert for any sign of trouble or excitement. Mrs. Penelope Hawthorne, the elderly church caretaker, plays a pivotal role in their lives. With her silver hair always neatly pinned in a bun and her kind, wrinkled face often creased in a warm smile, she's like a grandmother to Oliver. Her eyes, though, hold a depth of knowledge that hints at secrets long kept. Reverend Jonathan Edwards, the vicar of St. Michael's, is a tall, lean man in his 50s with salt and pepper hair and kind blue eyes behind wire-rimmed spectacles. His sermons are known for their warmth and wisdom, often peppered with local folklore that captivates his congregation. The Reverend has a special fondness for Oliver and Luna, often turning a blind eye to their explorations of the church grounds. Among the townsfolk, there's Old Tom, the local historian and conspiracy theorist. With his wild grey beard and eccentric attire, he's often seen shuffling around town, muttering about ancient legends and hidden treasures. While many dismiss his ramblings, Oliver finds them fascinating and often seeks out Tom's stories. Emily Watson, Oliver's classmate and friend, is a sharp-witted girl with long, dark braids and a no-nonsense attitude. She's skeptical of Oliver's wild theories, but can't resist joining in on his adventures. Her logical mind often provides a perfect balance to Oliver's flights of fancy. Lastly, there's Mr. Archibald Blackwood, the reclusive owner of Millbrook Manor. Rarely seen in town, his imposing figure and stern demeanor have made him the subject of much local gossip. Some say he's guarding dark secrets within the walls of his ancestral home. These characters, each with their own quirks and secrets, form the tapestry of Millbrook. Their lives are about to intertwine in ways they never expected, as ancient forces stir and long-buried secrets come to light in the shadow of St. Michael's Church. As the sun dips below the horizon, casting long shadows across Millbrook, St. Michael's Church prepares for its annual midnight vigil. The townsfolk gather, their whispered conversations creating a low hum in the candlelit nave. Oliver and Luna slip in quietly, finding a spot near the back where Luna can curl up unnoticed. As Reverend Edwards begins the service, Luna's ears suddenly prick up. Her body tenses, and she lets out a low, almost inaudible whine. Oliver, attuned to his friend's every movement, notices immediately. He watches as Luna's gaze fixates on the old stone wall behind the altar, her nose twitching rapidly. Intrigued, Oliver leans forward, straining to see what has caught Luna's attention. For a moment, he thinks he sees a faint shimmer in the air, like heat rising from sun-baked pavement. But it's gone in an instant, leaving him wondering if it was just a trick of the candlelight. As the vigil continues, Luna grows increasingly restless. Oliver places a calming hand on her head, but he can feel her trembling beneath his touch. Something is amiss in St. Michael's Church, something only Luna can sense, and it's about to change their lives forever. In the days following the midnight vigil, Oliver finds himself unable to shake off the memory of Luna's strange behavior. He spends more time than ever at the church, under the pretense of helping Mrs. Hawthorne with her duties. Luna accompanies him faithfully, her keen senses always alert as they move through the ancient building. Mrs. Hawthorne notices their increased presence and seems both pleased and troubled. "Oliver, dear," she says one afternoon, her voice low as if sharing a secret, "has Luna been acting peculiar lately?" When Oliver describes the incident at the vigil, a shadow passes over Mrs. Hawthorne's face. She quickly changes the subject, but Oliver catches her casting worried glances at the wall behind the altar. Meanwhile, Luna's behavior becomes increasingly erratic. She paces restlessly at night, whining at Oliver's bedroom window in the direction of the church. During their visits to St. Michael's, she alternates between anxious whimpers and intense focus, her eyes never leaving the spot where Oliver had seen the shimmer. "Ndrun." Oliver confides in Emily about his concerns. At first she's skeptical, attributing Luna's behavior to an overactive canine imagination. But when she joins them on a visit to the church and witnesses Luna's odd behavior firsthand, her scientific curiosity is piqued. There must be a logical explanation, she muses, already formulating theories about hidden chambers or forgotten relics. As word spreads about Luna's strange actions, the townsfolk react with a mix of curiosity and unease. Old Tom becomes a frequent visitor to the churchyard, regaling anyone who'll listen with tales of ancient curses and hidden treasures. His eyes gleam with excitement as he tells Oliver, "That dog of yours, she's got the sight, boy. Mark my words, she's sensing something beyond our mortal ken." Reverend Edwards, noticing the increased activity around the church, approaches Oliver with gentle concern. "I've known Luna since she was a pup," he says, his kind eyes crinkling at the corners. "She's always been special, but this is different." He hesitates, then adds, "Perhaps it's time I showed you something, Oliver, something very few people know about." The Reverend leads Oliver to his study, a cozy room lined with ancient books and curious artifacts. From a locked drawer, he retrieves a weathered journal bound in cracked leather. "This belonged to the first vicar of St. Michael's," he explains, carefully opening the fragile pages. "It speaks of a sacred duty, a protection placed upon our church centuries ago." As Oliver pores over the cryptic entries, his mind whirling with possibilities, Luna's behavior begins to make sense. The journal hints at a hidden chamber, a powerful relic, and a threat held at bay by faith and vigilance. Oliver realizes that Luna's extraordinary senses have been detecting the weakening of this ancient protection. Meanwhile, Mr. Blackwood's imposing figure is seen more frequently around town, his hawkish gaze often fixed on St. Michael's spire. Emily, ever observant, notices his sudden interest and confides in Oliver. "There's something off about him," she whispers. "It's like he's waiting for something to happen." As the mystery deepens, the bonds between the characters strengthen. Oliver and Emily spend long hours in the library, researching local legends and historical accounts. Luna becomes more protective of Oliver, growling at shadows that seem to linger too long. Mrs. Hawthorne hovers nearby, her weathered hands often clutching a string of prayer beads, her lips moving in silent supplication. The air in Millbrook grows thick with tension and anticipation. Something is stirring in the heart of St. Michael's Church, and Oliver, Luna, and their allies find themselves at the center of an age-old conflict about to resurface. Their first obstacle arises when they attempt to locate the hidden chamber mentioned in the old vicar's journal. Despite Luna's keen senses and Oliver's careful study of the church's architecture, they can't seem to find any trace of a secret entrance. Frustration mounts as they spend countless hours tapping walls and examining floor tiles, all to no avail. Emily suggests using modern technology to aid their search. She borrows ground-penetrating radar equipment from her uncle, a geology professor. However, their excitement turns to disappointment when the device malfunctions every time they bring it near the church. "It's as if something's interfering with the signal," Emily mutters, her scientific mind struggling to explain the anomaly. Meanwhile, strange occurrences begin to plague the town. Shadows seem to move of their own accord, and townsfolk report hearing whispers when no one is around. The temperature in the church drops dramatically, even on warm days, and candles flicker without any breeze. These events fuel old Tom's wild theories and spread unease throughout Millbrook. Mr. Blackwood's presence becomes more ominous. Oliver spots him engaged in heated arguments with Reverend Edwards and Mrs. Hawthorne on separate occasions. When confronted, the adults deflect Oliver's questions, their faces etched with worry and fear. One evening, as Oliver and Luna are leaving the church, they encounter a group of hooded figures moving silently through the churchyard. Luna's hackles rise, and she lets out a low, menacing growl. The figures quickly disperse, melting into the shadows, but not before Oliver catches a glimpse of an emblem on one of their robes, a symbol that matches a drawing in the old vicar's journal. Determined to uncover the truth, Oliver decides to conduct a nighttime stakeout of the church. However, his plans are thwarted when his parents, concerned about his recent obsession with St. Michael's, ground him for a week. Frustrated but undeterred, Oliver enlists Emily's help to continue the investigation. As the week progresses, Luna becomes increasingly agitated. She barks at unseen threats and refuses to leave Oliver's side. Her distress reaches a peak during a thunderstorm when she howls mournfully at the window, her eyes fixed on the distant silhouette of the church spire, illuminated by flashes of lightning. The following morning, Oliver wakes to find Luna missing. Panic-stricken, he races to the church, only to find the ancient wooden doors firmly locked, something that hasn't happened in living memory. As he pounds desperately on the door, he hears Luna's faint whimper from somewhere deep within the stone walls of St. Michael's. With Luna trapped inside the locked church, Oliver faces his greatest challenge yet. He rallies Emily, Mrs. Hawthorne, and Reverend Edwards to help, but their efforts to open the doors prove futile. Even the Reverend's keys don't work, as if the locks have been changed by an unseen force. As they struggle with the doors, Mr. Blackwood appears, his face a mask of grim determination. "You don't know what you're dealing with," he warns ominously. "Some doors are better left closed." His words only fuel Oliver's resolve, and he vows to find a way in, with or without help. Emily suggests accessing the church through the ancient crypt, which connects to the main building via a narrow passageway. However, as they descend the worn stone steps into the musty underground chamber, they find their path blocked by a cave-in that looks suspiciously recent. Undeterred, Oliver proposes scaling the church tower to gain entry through the belfry, but as he and Emily attempt the climb, they're besieged by an unnatural wind that howls around them, tearing at their clothes and threatening to pull them from the stone walls. They're forced to retreat, shaken but unharmed. Meanwhile, strange phenomena intensify around Millbrook. Livestock go missing, crops wither overnight, and an unseasonable fog descends upon the town, obscuring the church from view. The townsfolk grow increasingly fearful, with some even preparing to leave. That's it. Old Tom, in a moment of lucidity, shares a local legend about a group of guardians who once protected the town from dark forces. He believes that Luna's disappearance and the recent events are connected to the awakening of an ancient evil. His words, once dismissed as ramblings, now carry a chilling weight. As night falls, Oliver notices faint, eerie lights flickering within the fog-shrouded church. He hears Luna's distant barking, punctuated by sounds that send shivers down his spine, unearthly whispers and the grinding of stone against stone. Desperate for answers, Oliver and Emily break into the town archives, searching for any historical records that might shed light on the church's secrets. They discover references to a hidden chamber beneath the altar, accessible only during a lunar eclipse, which, they realize with a jolt, is due to occur the following night. However, their clandestine research is interrupted by the arrival of the hooded figures Oliver had seen earlier. As Oliver and Emily hide, they overhear a chilling conversation about a ritual to be performed during the eclipse, one that requires a pure-hearted sacrifice. Realizing that Luna's life may be in danger, Oliver knows they're in a race against time. But with the church seemingly impenetrable, the town in chaos, and sinister forces at work, he faces the daunting task of not only rescuing Luna, but also unraveling the mystery that threatens the very soul of Millbrook. As dawn breaks, Oliver gathers his allies, Emily, Mrs. Hawthorne, Reverend Edwards, and even the reluctant Mr. Blackwood, knowing that the upcoming night will be pivotal in their quest to save Luna and protect their town from an ancient evil. Oliver, fueled by determination and fear for Luna's safety, becomes the driving force behind their efforts. He pores over the town archives and the old vicar's journal, searching for any additional clues about accessing the hidden chamber. His young mind, unencumbered by adult skepticism, makes connections that others miss. And Emily, applying her scientific knowledge, works on deciphering the astronomical aspects of the lunar eclipse. She calculates the exact time when the moon's shadow will align with the church, potentially revealing the secret entrance. Her logical approach provides a much-needed counterbalance to the mystical elements of their quest. Mrs. Hawthorne, drawing on her years of service to the church, provides invaluable insights into its history and layout. She reveals hidden passages and forgotten nooks that could prove useful in their plan. Her weathered hands tremble as she shares long-kept secrets, her eyes reflecting a mix of fear and relief. Reverend Edwards grapples with his role as the church's spiritual leader and protector. He spends hours in prayer, seeking guidance and strength. When he emerges from his study, his face is set with newfound resolve. He begins to gather blessed items and ancient relics, preparing for a battle that transcends the physical realm. Mr. Blackwood, initially resistant, gradually reveals his own connection to the church's secrets. He admits to being a descendant of the original guardians, tasked with protecting the town from ancient evils. His knowledge of forgotten rituals and protective spells becomes a crucial asset to the team. As night approaches, the group convenes in the church rectory, spreading out maps, diagrams, and ancient texts. They formulate a plan that combines Oliver's intuition, Emily's calculations, Mrs. Hawthorne's knowledge, Reverend Edwards' faith, and Mr. Blackwood's ancestral wisdom. As darkness falls and the lunar eclipse begins, the team puts their plan into action. Oliver and Emily, armed with flashlights and walkie-talkies, position themselves near the altar. Mrs. Hawthorne stands guard at the church doors, ready to warn of any approaching danger. Reverend Edwards and Mr. Blackwood take up positions in the bell tower, prepared to perform an ancient ritual that might weaken whatever force is holding Luna captive. The air grows thick with tension as the eclipse progresses. Strange shadows dance across the walls, and an unearthly chill permeates the church. Oliver feels a mix of fear and excitement coursing through him, his heart pounding in his chest. As the moon reaches totality, a beam of spectral light pierces through the stained glass window, illuminating a previously invisible pattern on the floor near the altar. Emily gasps in amazement, her scientific mind struggling to comprehend the phenomenon. Oliver, guided by instinct and Luna's distant whimpers, steps onto the illuminated pattern. The stone beneath his feet shifts, revealing a hidden staircase descending into darkness. Without hesitation, he plunges forward, Emily close behind. As Oliver and Emily descend the stairs, they hear Luna's barks growing louder. They also become aware of other sounds, whispers in an unknown language, and the scraping of stone against stone. The temperature drops dramatically, and their breath mists in the air. In a heart-stopping moment, they round a corner and come face to face with a sight that defies explanation. Luna, her fur glowing with an otherworldly light, standing guard over a pulsating ancient artifact. And beyond her, shadowy figures with glowing eyes advance, their intentions clearly malevolent. The hidden chamber beneath St. Michael's Church pulses with an otherworldly energy as Oliver and Emily face the nightmarish scene before them. Luna, her fur shimmering with an ethereal glow, stands protectively over an ancient artifact, a small, intricately carved stone box that seems to be the source of the pulsating energy filling the room. Advancing towards them are three shadowy figures, their eyes glowing with malevolent intent. As they draw closer, their forms solidify, revealing robed figures with faces twisted in grotesque, inhuman expressions. Oliver recognizes the emblem on their robes, the same symbol he had seen in the old vicar's journal. "Step aside, children," one of the figures hisses, its voice a chilling rasp. "The seal of St. Michael is ours to claim. Its power will open the gateway and usher in a new age of darkness." As if in response to Oliver's defiance, Luna lets out a fierce bark that reverberates through the chamber. The sound seems to strengthen the glow emanating from her fur, pushing back the encroaching shadows. Emily, her scientific mind racing, notices patterns in the stone floor, similar to the ones that revealed the hidden staircase. "Oliver," she whispers urgently, "I think these markings are part of a larger protection spell. We need to activate them somehow." As Oliver and Emily frantically search for a way to trigger the floor's hidden power, the shadowy figures launch their attack. Tendrils of darkness shoot out, attempting to ensnare Luna and seize the artifact. Luna growls fiercely, her glowing form creating a barrier that the darkness cannot penetrate. Oliver, driven by instinct and the need to protect his loyal friend, rushes forward. As he steps onto one of the floor patterns, it illuminates beneath his feet. The shadowy figures recoil, hissing in pain as the light touches them. As Oliver and Emily race to activate the floor's hidden defenses, Luna continues to guard the artifact, her barks now interlaced with a haunting howl that seems to weaken the shadowy assailants. The shadow figures, momentarily stunned by the influx of light, regroup for another assault. Their leader, eyes blazing with fury, raises a gnarled hand. "Enough of these games! We will tear this chamber apart stone by stone if we must." As the shadow figures launch a renewed assault, the chamber erupts into chaos. Tendrils of darkness lash out, smashing against the illuminated floor patterns and Luna's protective aura. Oliver and Emily dodge and weave, desperately trying to activate the remaining patterns while avoiding the shadowy attacks. Luna's howls grow more intense, her fur blazing brighter with each passing moment. The artifact beneath her paws begins to resonate, pulsing in sync with her cries. The shadow figures falter, clearly pained by the combined assault of light and sound. Above, the chanting from Reverend Edwards and Mr. Blackwood takes on a new urgency. The moonbeam intensifies, widening to bathe more of the chamber in its ethereal glow. As it touches the activated floor patterns, they flare with increased brilliance. Inspired by this revelation, Oliver calls out to Luna, "Keep howling, girl! You're weakening them!" In that heart-stopping moment, Oliver throws himself between the shadowy assailant and Luna. As his hand touches the glowing artifact, a surge of energy courses through him. Memories flood his mind, not his own, but those of countless guardians before him who had protected Millbrook through the ages. With newfound clarity, Oliver speaks words of power he didn't know he possessed. The final floor pattern ignites beneath his feet, completing the circuit of light. The chamber fills with a blinding radiance, and the shadow figures shriek in agony. As the light begins to fade, Oliver finds himself face to face with the leader of the shadow figures, now stripped of its dark power and revealed as a frail, ancient being. Its eyes, no longer glowing with malevolence, now show a mix of defeat and relief. Before the being can answer, footsteps echo from the stairway. Reverend Edwards and Mr. Blackwood rush in, followed closely by Mrs. Hawthorne. Their faces show a mix of exhaustion and triumph. As Oliver, Emily, and Luna look on in bewilderment, the adults begin to explain the true nature of what has transpired. A revelation that will change their understanding of Millbrook, St. Michael's Church, and their own destinies forever. As the dust settles in the hidden chamber, Reverend Edwards steps forward, his face etched with a mixture of pride and solemnity. "Oliver," he begins, his voice resonating in the now quiet space, "what you've just experienced is a test that has been conducted in secret for generations, a test to find the next guardian of Millbrook." Mr. Blackwood nods, adding, "The evil you faced wasn't real, at least not in the way you thought. Those shadow beings were manifestations, created by the artifact to test the courage and heart of potential guardians." Mrs. Hawthorne steps closer, her eyes twinkling with a mix of mischief and admiration. "We've been watching you, Oliver. Your curiosity, your bravery, your connection with Luna, all signs that you might be the one we've been waiting for." Reverend Edwards smiles gently. "The guardian must be chosen by the artifact itself, and their worthiness must be proven through genuine actions, not rehearsed responses. The fear, the courage, the choices made in the face of perceived danger, all of these had to be real." The being that had appeared as the shadow leader speaks up, its form shimmering and changing until it resembles a kindly old man. "I am the spirit of the first guardian, bound to the artifact to oversee this test. Young Oliver, you have shown not only bravery but compassion, quick thinking, and the ability to unite others in a common cause. These are the true qualities of a guardian." Oliver, still reeling from the revelation, looks down at Luna. But what about Luna? How does she fit into all of this? As the gravity of the situation sinks in, Oliver's mind races with questions. But what exactly does a guardian do? And why is it so important for Millbrook? "Do supernatural threats?" Emily echoes, her skepticism evident. "You mean there are real monsters out there?" The spirit of the first guardian adds, "But the power of the seal must be renewed periodically, which is why we seek a new guardian when the time comes. The choosing of a new guardian rejuvenates the seal's power." Mrs. Hawthorne steps forward, her eyes twinkling. "That, my dear, is something new and wonderful. It seems that Luna's unique bond with you has allowed her to become a sort of amplifier for the seal's power. Together, you two may be able to strengthen the protective barrier in ways we've never seen before." Reverend Edwards places a comforting hand on Oliver's shoulder. "Being a guardian doesn't mean giving up your life, Oliver. It's about balance, about being ready when you're needed. We'll all be here to guide you, to teach you what you need to know, And as for your parents, well, that's a conversation we'll need to have very soon. Emily, who has been quiet for a while, suddenly speaks up. I want to help too. If Oliver's going to be doing this, he'll need all the support he can get. Plus, someone needs to approach all this scientifically, right? In the days following the revelation in the hidden chamber, Oliver's life transforms in ways he never could have imagined. The weight of his new responsibility as guardian of Millbrook sits heavily on his young shoulders, but he finds strength in the support of his newfound allies. The first challenge comes in the form of a difficult conversation with his parents. With Reverend Edwards and Mr. Blackwood present, Oliver explains his incredible experience and his new role. Initially skeptical and concerned, his parents gradually come to understand the importance of Oliver's calling. Their pride in their son's courage and compassion ultimately outweighs their fears. Emily, true to her word, throws herself into researching the history of guardians and the supernatural forces they protect against. Her logical approach to the mystical aspects of Oliver's new life proves invaluable, helping to bridge the gap between the mundane and the extraordinary. Luna, now recognized as an integral part of the Guardian's power, becomes a local celebrity of sorts. The townspeople, while not fully aware of the truth, sense that something special has occurred. They treat Luna with a new reverence, and her walks through town with Oliver often draw admiring glances and respectful nods. Oliver begins his training under the tutelage of Mr. Blackwood and Reverend Edwards. He learns to tap into the power of the seal, to sense disturbances in the town's protective barrier, and to perform the rituals necessary to maintain its strength. The hidden chamber beneath St. Michael's becomes a second home, a place of learning and preparation for the challenges that lie ahead. As Oliver grows into his role as guardian, the true nature of his responsibility becomes clear. The first real test comes on a stormy night when he senses a disturbance in the town's protective barrier. With Luna by his side, Oliver races to St. Michael's Church, where he finds a weak spot in the veil between worlds. Drawing upon his training and the power of the seal, Oliver works to reinforce the barrier. Luna's presence amplifies his abilities, her howls seeming to weave strands of energy that strengthen the weakening protection. As thunder crashes outside, Oliver successfully seals the breach, preventing an incursion of supernatural forces into Millbrook. This event serves as a turning point, solidifying Oliver's confidence in his abilities and the town's trust in their young protector. The secret of Millbrook's guardian remains just that, a secret. But the townspeople begin to notice subtle changes. The air seems cleaner, the crops more bountiful, and a general sense of well-being permeates the community. Oliver, with Emily's help, starts to uncover more about the history of guardians in Millbrook. They discover journals and artifacts left by previous protectors, each offering new insights and techniques for safeguarding the town. This knowledge not only aids in Oliver's duties, but also helps him feel connected to a long line of dedicated guardians who came before him. As weeks turn into months, Oliver finds a balance between his normal life as a schoolboy and his secret role as guardian. His friendship with Emily deepens, strengthened by their shared experiences and the weight of the secrets they keep. Luna remains his constant companion, their bond growing stronger with each passing day. As Oliver settles into his role as guardian, the emotional weight of his responsibility begins to manifest in various ways. There are moments of doubt and fear, particularly on nights when the veil between worlds feels thin and strange energies brush against the town's protective barrier. In these times, Oliver finds comfort in Luna's unwavering presence and the gentle support of his mentors. The secrecy of his position sometimes strains Oliver's relationships. He struggles with not being able to share everything with his parents or his classmates. This burden of silence leads to occasional feelings of isolation, but it also deepens his appreciation for those who do know the truth: Emily, Reverend Edwards, Mrs. Hawthorne, and Mr. Blackwood. Emily, in her role as Oliver's confidant and research partner, experiences her own emotional journey. Her scientific worldview is constantly challenged by the supernatural elements they encounter, leading to moments of frustration but also wonder. Her friendship with Oliver grows stronger through their shared experiences, evolving into a deep bond built on trust and mutual respect. Luna's emotional state becomes intrinsically linked with Oliver's. She senses his moods, often providing comfort before Oliver even realizes he needs it. Their connection transcends the ordinary human-animal bond, becoming something mystical and profound. This deep connection brings Oliver joy, but also worry, as he becomes acutely aware of the responsibility he bears for Luna's well-being, as well as the town's. The townspeople, though unaware of the specifics, sense a change in Millbrook. There's a growing atmosphere of peace and security that many attribute to the good vibes of St. Michael's Church. This positive energy further motivates Oliver in his duties, knowing that his efforts are making a tangible difference in people's lives. As time passes, Oliver's emotional journey takes on new dimensions. He begins to understand the true meaning of sacrifice and duty, not as abstract concepts, but as lived experiences. There are nights when he must forego sleep to maintain the town's defenses, and days when he struggles to concentrate in school due to his guardian responsibilities. Yet, with each challenge overcome, Oliver's sense of purpose grows stronger. The relationship between Oliver and Mr. Blackwood evolves in unexpected ways. Initially intimidated by the stern, reclusive man, Oliver comes to see him as a father figure of sorts. Mr. Blackwood, in turn, softens in Oliver's presence, rediscovering a sense of hope and wonder through the boy's eyes. Their bond becomes a source of strength for both, bridging generations of guardians. Mrs. Hawthorne takes on a grandmotherly role, offering Oliver comfort food and words of wisdom in equal measure. Her gentle guidance helps Oliver navigate the emotional turbulence of balancing his normal life with his guardian duties. Through her, Oliver learns the importance of self-care and finding joy in small moments. Reverend Edwards faces his own emotional journey, grappling with the weight of having kept the guardian's secret for so long. Watching Oliver grow into his role brings the Reverend a sense of relief and renewed faith. His sermons take on new depth, subtly inspiring the townspeople with messages of unity and protection, themes that resonate deeply with Oliver. Perhaps the most profound emotional impact is on Oliver's worldview. He develops a deep appreciation for the interconnectedness of all things, seeing Millbrook not just as a town to protect, but as a living, breathing entity of which he is an integral part. This perspective brings both a sense of awe and a deep-seated contentment, even in the face of his daunting responsibilities. As the seasons change in Millbrook, the town settles into a new rhythm, one that pulses with the hidden magic of its young guardian. Oliver, now more confident in his role, stands atop the bell tower of St. Michael's Church, Luna faithfully by his side. They gaze out over the picturesque town, the setting sun painting the sky in hues of orange and purple. The air is thick with the scent of autumn leaves and the promise of new beginnings. Oliver reflects on the journey that brought him here, the fears he's overcome, the friendships he's forged, and the profound sense of purpose he's discovered. He realizes that being the guardian of Millbrook isn't just about protecting the town from supernatural threats. It's about nurturing the community's spirit and preserving the bonds that make this place special. As if sensing his thoughts, Luna nuzzles Oliver's hand. He smiles, knowing that whatever challenges lie ahead, he won't face them alone. He has Luna, his extraordinary companion, Emily, his loyal friend and intellectual equal, and a network of mentors who believe in him. The church bells begin to toll, their melodious sound echoing across the town. To most, it's simply marking the hour, but Oliver knows it's also a reminder of the secret that lies beneath, a legacy of protection and hope that he's now part of. With a deep breath, Oliver turns to head back down the tower. There's homework to be done, dinner with his family to enjoy, and later, a patrol of the town's mystical borders. It's a balancing act, but one he's learning to master with grace and determination. As guardian of Millbrook, Oliver has found his calling. And in doing so, he's discovered that magic isn't just about spells and artifacts. It's about the power of community, friendship, and the unwavering spirit of a boy and his dog. Indeed, as the story of Millbrook's young guardian draws to a close, the town continues to thrive under Oliver's watchful protection. The bond between Oliver and Luna grows stronger with each passing day, their combined power ensuring the safety of their beloved community. Emily's scientific approach to the supernatural provides invaluable insights, helping Oliver to refine his guardian techniques. The mentorship of Reverend Edwards, Mrs. Hawthorne, and Mr. Blackwood continues to guide Oliver as he balances his dual life as a normal teenager and the town's mystical protector. The secrets of St. Michael's Church remain safe, known only to a select few who understand the true nature of Millbrook's hidden magic. Years later, an older Oliver stands at the church's altar, Luna grey-muzzled but still alert by his side. A new generation of curious children plays in the churchyard, among them a young girl with a keen eye and a brave heart. Oliver smiles, sensing the familiar stirring of the seal. Perhaps it's time for a new chapter in Millbrook's guardianship to begin. Dear viewers, the tale of Oliver and Luna reminds us that magic exists in the bonds we forge and the communities we nurture. Look around your own town. What hidden wonders might be waiting to be discovered? Embrace your curiosity, cherish your friendships, and remember, sometimes the greatest adventures begin right in your own backyard.